It would be better if a millstone was hung around his neck than should he become a stumbling block for any one of my little ones. That's Luke 17:2, and I know I've used that scripture before because it's so important. And when you realize we're to be reborn, we're to come to the throne of God as little children. And so many professing Christians miss that. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and money. And every time I turn on the television, I see commercials for gambling sites, for beer, from athletes, many of which proclaim Christ. And they're doing these ads that say, go to ESPN Bet, go to MGM, go, gamble your money here, go enjoy this beer. You've got some on the news being interviewed saying, you got Steph Curry saying the main reason he supports Kamala Harris is because of a woman's right, to choose. So he's saying because he's pro-abortion, but he always is talking about Jesus. He has Philippian scripture on his shoe. But it breaks my heart because we're not to take pride in our sin. We are all going to struggle with sin, and we are so thankful for the grace provided through Jesus Christ, but we're not to take pride in our sin, and that's what this world does. And people are so blinded to the reality of sin and what it does, separating us from our conscience, from our God-given conscience, as we partake in things of the world, as we receive things from this world that many false believers count as blessings from God, but really they're blessings from the enemy because he is using them to be stumbling blocks for little ones. Whenever you're promoting something that can cause a habitual habit of sin, and gambling is, if you make that an idol, that's something I struggled with for a long time. And if I was left to my own vices, if I wasn't connected in a church, and thankfully the laws here in California keep you from being able to do it, because I wouldn't even want to deal with that temptation. I still enjoy fantasy sports on a much smaller level than I used to, but it's still something I enjoy, but it's not something I promote because I know it can become a stumbling block for people. Just like, we shouldn't really be drinking. Yeah, Jesus turned water into wine, but if that could be a stumbling block for somebody else drinking, we should think about our brother first. Is it a sin to have one beer here or there? No, it's not. I don't believe. But if you think that might be a stumbling block for somebody who has had an alcohol issue, you should refrain from it in their presence, because it's all about thinking about others before ourselves, not what we want to do whimsically, what makes us happy in the moment. We think about others. That is what God is doing collectively all the time, and that's what he asked us to do. To live a sacrificial life, not to be stumbling blocks for others. And so it really just bothers me. I see all these athletes just glorifying gambling and alcohol and all these things of the flesh that pull us away. And I know when I was drinking alcohol, thank God that's something he has delivered me from, because the things that I might struggle with now, at least in thought, when I was drinking, it was tenfold. And that's the problem we have today. We have a world that promotes drinking and drugs. So many drugs are doctor approved now when it comes to marijuana in many states. So ironically, California, you can smoke as much weed as you want, but you can't gamble. It's just odd. Different things, different states, different types of legalism and red tape, but so many things pulling us away from serving God by putting others first. And just a lack of awareness and discernment, allowing so many to be used, so many self-professing believers to be used as stumbling blocks for so many. I pray that if you aren't aware, that, to be aware, look into the word and, avoid gambling. The way it's just so promoted today, it's just so sad, because, man, it's one of the most dangerous things you can do, especially with, so many people looking to put their hope in something to have a big payday, and inflation and prices soaring through the roof. It's so hard just to keep a roof over your head. If you get conditioned into chasing money the wrong way, you could be a real bad steward of your funds. And you got a lot of believers, so-called believers, promoting it. I know Drew Brees was one. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope this finds you well. Just pray about everything you do that it could not potentially be a stumbling block. I don't care what the world offers you. If somehow some celebrity stumbles upon this and they're offered millions to promote something, obviously Travis Kelce's being used to promote so many things that are behind a world agenda or that are pushing a world agenda, and he was given millions. I heard he was given like 20 million to do the Pfizer commercial. promoting, you know what. So anyway, do not be a stumbling block to your best of your ability. The more discernment you get in the word, the less likely you'll be to be a stumbling block for any little ones. Our young minds, the young people of today are under attack. The God of this world wants their minds to be saturated with things that become a stumbling block for them. So we as believers need to make sure we're not being a part of that. I don't want a millstone put around my neck. I know that. So anyway, God bless. See you tomorrow.